Happy Turtle Box Tuesday. And as we promised, today we're going to shape a neck. So once again, we're out in the shop. It's a little cold, but not as cold as it has been. And today, we're going to show you how to shape a neck. Now, there's many different ways you can shape the neck to get that nice round guitar neck feel. You can use, if you've only got basic tools, like a sanding block and sanding paper, then that's how you shape it. That's how I started. There are many different grits of sandpaper you can use. Initially, I began with 60. Then I move on to 100. From 100, I go to 500. And then I go to 1,000. Now they make it up to 2,000, I believe. And the reason you have the varying degrees of sandpaper grit is so you can initially remove a lot of this harsh angle there. And also round it out and get it to the shape you need it to be. After that, it's fine sanding, where you get the grain to pop and you get it nice and smooth like a guitar neck should feel. Now the tools we have, again, like I said, I started out with a sanding block, advanced to a one of these vibrating sanders. You can use a radial orbit sander, but then I went to Harbor Freight, and which is not sponsoring the show, by the way, and got a belt sander, which is basically what it has is it's made my process easier. It's a lot easier to belt sand this than to just take it off with a little sanding block. It's a lot quicker. Three other things you'll also need is you'll need some ear protection, because these are rather loud. Eye protection, because you don't want to poke an eye out, kid. And as usual, you'll need a mask. Because all this, when you're sanding it all off, all the sawdust and the little tiny particles can get in your lungs, and you do not want that at all. Mask up during sanding. Another thing that I did was I took our box and a neck, and I measured out where the box will go in and out of the neck. Because that part, you don't need to sand. You just need to sand the part between here and here in the headstock, so the neck portion only. Now, is there a technique to doing this? If there is, I really haven't seen one. The way I do it is I take it across this hard edge here, and I just kind of take it between the lines that I've drawn and just kind of draw it across and draw it across and draw it across and draw it across, and that makes the rounded angles. I can go back with my other tools and other sandpaper and round it off and make it more rounded. This is going to give me my initial roundness. It's going to start it off. As you can see, I've taken quite a bit of that edge off of there. Now what we can do from here is either continue to knock it off more on the belt sander, or take it to the bench and use the other tools that I showed you earlier and make it rounder. That is entirely up to you. Now another cool thing we can do with this belt sander is that we have a disc sander on here too. We can round off the headstock. So why don't we take care of that right now? as soon as we get an edge where we want it to be, then we could take it back up top again and round it off and make it even better. Okay, we've made it over to the bench, and now we're going to use this dual action sander to round the edges and make them a little more smoother. So today we shaped the neck, and we used various grits of sandpaper, a sanding block, a dual action sander, and a belt disc sander. Whatever kind of sanding tools you have, that's what you have, and you do the best you can with what you have. It's your build. There's really no rules. But we did manage to knock off quite a bit of angle on there, because you can see the squared angle for where we're going to put the fretboard, and then the roundness of the neck. Now you can make this neck as round or as square as you want it. You can make it even a V shape if you wanted to, because there's some guitar necks that have a V shape. So that's what that looks like. We even worked a little bit on the headstock, and we'll continue with that in the future episodes. Now next week what we want to do is we want to prep it for a fretboard. And the fretboard will go on top of it like that. And we can use this lovely Bolivian rosewood. We can use this beautiful, oh, this is Bolivian rosewood. This is Bolivian rosewood. They're both Bolivian rosewood. Who knew? Or we can use this lovely piece of African mahogany. My library has many leather-bound books that smell of mahogany. So that's what we'll do next week. So thank you for joining me during the shaping of the neck. And we'll continue to shape it and get it where we want to get it. And we will see you next week for Turtle Box Tuesday. You make it an awesome Turtle Box Tuesday. Oh, this is scary.